This week in reading, we're reading the text Stink and the Freaky Frog Freakout by Megan McDonald. You might recognize her name as an author. She is famous for writing the Judy Moody books. So this book was written by her and it's illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. So today as we read, we're going to preview the text and we're going to set a purpose for our reading. And then we have a quick mini lesson about the reading skill Monitor and Clarify. And we are only going to read pages 61 through 65 of the story. And hopefully by Wednesday we will have finished this story. So just like last week, we are going to be reading a realistic fiction story. Remember that this genre has the characteristics of fiction, so character, setting, a problem and a conflict, and a theme. So we're going to see that as we read, but it also sounds like it could be a real story. So I want you to look at the picture of the frog, and I want you to look at the picture of the classroom, and I want you to make a prediction about what you think this story could be about. Somehow these two pictures go with what we are going to read this week. All right, so our skill for today is monitor and clarify. And what this means is that as I'm reading, I need to pay careful attention to what I'm reading and make sure that I understand it. And if I don't understand what I'm reading, then I need to ask myself some questions, or I need to go back and do some rereading to make sure that I do understand what the author is telling me. So I'm going to ask myself, do I understand what I just read? And if my answer is yes, I can keep reading. If my answer is no, then I'm going to go back and maybe look for a word that I didn't understand the first time I read it. Maybe I need to decode that word again, or look for context clues, or try replacing it with another word. I could also look it up in a dictionary or glossary. And if it still is confusing to me, then I could maybe take some notes. I could think about what I already know. I might reread and look for any details that I may have missed. And I can also look at the pictures or the text features to help me see if I can get some more clues about what this text could be telling me. So as I was reading this book in the section for today, on page 65, in paragraph 21, I got a little confused and I wasn't really sure why mouse darted under the bed. And that's what the text told me, is that mouse darted under the bed. So I thought a little bit more, and I remembered that mouse is actually a cat, and the family named their cat Mouse. But I'm not really sure what the word darted means. So when do cats dart? That's the question that I asked myself. When do cats dart? So if I go back and I reread paragraphs 21, 22, and 23, once I did that, I was able to see what it actually meant. So I now see that in the story, at that point, Stink was shaking a paint can to make a frog noise, and that noise must have scared the cat Mouse. So darted must mean ran. And if I substitute the word ran for the word darted, then I see that the sentence does still make sense. So I think that my thinking is now correct. So that's an example, guys, of how you can go back and monitor and clarify your thinking as a reader to make sure that you understand what you're reading. So today as you're reading, if you kind of get confused, I want you to go back and use those reading skills of decoding, looking for context clues, replacing the word you didn't know, or looking up the word in a glossary or dictionary.